Students, in this class we are going to study chapter number 10, nested for loops. This is part 1, nested for loops, chapter number 10. First of all, we are going to see what is nested loop. Okay, loop means repeating the same process again and again. So if a loop within a loop is called as a nested loop. A loop within a loop is called a nested loop. The nesting of loops may be of same type or different type. Okay. It should always be kept in mind while using nested loop. Only after the inner loop completes its iteration, the control is transferred to the outer loop. Nested loop can be studied using an example. So, nested loop means if a loop is used inside another loop, it is called as a nested loop. Okay. So, in the nested loop structure, first it will check the condition in the outer loop, and if the condition is true, it will jump inside the inner loop. So the for loop first execute the inner loop first. First it will check the outer loop condition. If the condition is true, it will go to the inner loop and repeat the inner loop till the condition becomes false. Okay. So when the condition becomes false, again it will go to the outer loop and increment or decrement the values and do the process again. So now we are going to see one example using this for nested loop. Okay. So here we are using two loops, that is x and y. X equal to 1, that is x less than or equal to 3, the condition is true, so it will jump into the inner loop. Then y will become 1, 1 less than or equal to 3, the condition is true, y plus plus. Here we are printing the values, that is x and y. So x ka value 1 and y's value is also 1. So the output, this is the first step. Second step, only the inner loop will execute till the condition becomes false. So increment the value of y by 1, that is y value becomes 2, 2 less than or equal to 3. So in the second step, y value becomes 2 and already the x value is 1. Okay, so it will print the x and y value, that is x value is 1 and y value is 2. In the third time, y increment the value by 1, so y value become 3. 3 equal to 3, the condition is true. So already the x value is 1 and y value is 3. It is printed here. Next, y will increment the value as 1, that is 4. 4 less than or equal to 3, the condition is false. So again it will go to the outer loop and increment the value of x by 1. So x will become 2. 2 less than or equal to 3, the condition is true. So it will come here. So the again y value is 1 and y 1 less than or equal to 3, yes, so it will print the value. Now the value of x is 2 and y value is 1. Okay, like this it will repeat till the two loops, till the outer loop becomes false. Okay, so this is called nested loop, the loop within another loop. So in the nested loop, first it will check the condition in the outer loop and do the process till the inner loop becomes false. When the inner loop becomes false, it will again come to the outer loop and do the process and again repeat the same loop again and again till the outer loop becomes false. When the outer loop becomes false, the loop will terminate. Okay, this is the process of for loop. So here they have given the step-by-step instructions for the for that program. Okay, now we are going to see another one example, that by using while loop. The previous example is by using for loop. This example is by using while loop. So program to illustrate the use of nested loop using while loop. So here the value of initial value in while loop, after the declaration of the variable, the initial value of the variable is given. X is equal to 1. 1 less than or equal to 3, the condition is true. Here also y is equal to 1. This is the inner loop. Okay, so 1 less than or equal to 3. So we have to print the value of x and y. Here we are increment the value of y. Again this inner loop will execute till 3 times. When the fourth time comes, the inner loop becomes false. So it will increment the value of the outer loop by 1. So the control go here and the control go here and the value of x becomes 2. 2 less than or equal to 3. The condition is true. Again the y value becomes 1 and the loop will execute till 3 times. Okay, this is the nested loop by using while statement. Nesting of loop is possible while using while and do while loops. Here the table shows the step-by-step process of that program. Okay students, now we are going to see the nested loop by using do while loop. Okay, uh, no, this program is also by using the while loop. The previous nesting of loop is possible using while and do while. This is the previous program, and now we are going to see the program nested loop by using do while loop. So in the do while loop, it will execute the process once before checking the conditions. Okay, here the first value of x is 1. Here there is no condition checking is there. Again y value is 1. So here also we are not checking any condition and we are doing the process. That is, we are printing the value of x and y. Here we are incrementing the value of y. Here only we are checking the condition. Okay, so that's why this do while loop is called as an entry controlled loop. In do while loop, we will execute the statement once before checking the condition. In for loop and while loop, we check the condition and doing the process. But in the case of do while loop, first we'll one time we are printing the value. After that only we are checking the conditions. Okay, so this is the example of program by using do while loop. Okay, uh, now, what is the use of the break statement in a nested loop? So, we already know break statement is used for temporary exit. So, in a nested loop, the break statement inside the inner loop makes it exit from the inner loop only. In other words, the break statement in a loop will make it exit only from the loop of which it is a content. So here we are going to see the use of the break loop. So here for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to 3, I plus plus. So the condition becomes true. So it will jump into the inner loop j equal to 1, j less than or equal to 5, j plus plus. Here we are checking j equal to 3. Here the value of j is 1, 1 equal to 3 is false. So if the condition is false, so it will stop here. It will not go to the next line. Okay, that is a temporary exit. Okay, so the break statement in the inner loop exits only the inner loop, but the outer loop continues with its iteration. So here only the break statement will execute. Okay, so if the condition is false means again the outer loop will do this process in its own way. It will not, this break statement will not affect the outer loop. Okay, so the output will be like this when you execute that program. The step-by-step instructions of that program is given in this tabular column. Now we are going to see the continue statement in a nested loop. In a nested loop, the continue means we can go through the statements whether the condition is true or false. Okay, in a nested loop, the continue statement in a inner loop skip the rest of the statement after it and continues with the next iteration. In other words, the continue statement in the inner loop will only make the rest of the statement within the inner loop be skipped and continue with the next iteration by only of the inner loop. So this is the program. So the continue statement in the inner loop skips the remaining statement only when the inner loop and continues with the next iteration. So now we are going to see one example program by using continuous statement. Okay. So this is the program segment. For x is int xy, we are using two loops. If y equal to 3, first the condition, the inner loop, the initial value of y is 1. So 1 equal to 3, the condition is false. Then also we are going to continue the statement, statement given, and check the condition, again repeating the loop again and again. We are not going to break the statement when the conditions becomes false. Okay students, so this is the difference between break statement and continuous statement. So this table shows the working principle of the previous program. Now we are going to see the left aligned triangle patterns. Okay, so you can create a lot of patterns using the nested loop. So by using this nested loop, we are able to make triangles, diamonds, then pyramids, everything we are able to use such patterns, usually following the format, that is outer loop, for loop and inner for loop. Okay, we have to, at least we have to use two loops in the making patterns. The outer loop or the for I loop is used for the number of lines or rows, and the inner loop is used for the content of each loop, although it has different variants. Okay, so now we are going to see one example by using this pattern. So in pattern 1, um, we are creating the pattern like this: 1 1 2 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 1 3 4 5. So 5 times we have to repeat the loop, and 5 times we have to print the value. So the outer loop is like this: I equal to 1. So this is the first time we are going to do this, that is I equal to 1, I less than 5, I plus plus, the condition is true. So if the condition is true, we have to come here: j equal to 1, j less than or equal to I, j is equal to I, then j plus plus. So system dot out dot print of j. First we have to print the number 1. Okay, print of means then again I will increment the value by 2. Okay, so 2 less than or equal to 1. So the condition is true. Print of means it will print the previous value with the next value. So okay, print ln means it will skip the next line, and when we are printing the values, it should be printed with the previous value. Okay, so here we are using the increment operator. Here also we are using the increment operator, and here also we have used the increment operator. But in the case of pattern 2, it is just ulta, just inverse. Okay, the initial value is 5, the final value is 1 here. So every time we are reducing the value by 1. Okay, so here we have to use the decrement operator. Okay, here I minus minus, j minus minus. Here the initial value is 5 and the final value is 1. So this is the pattern. This is the way to create the patterns by using the nested loop. So students, here the chapter is over here. The next chapter, next part, we are going to see the solved exercise question answers. Okay.